Hey everyone, it's your boy Freak here. We're making a destruction video today. It's infrequent, but for those of you that have been asking, I'm grateful, guys. Thank you very much. I still appreciate the support, even though that I don't have much free time to make videos right now. Hopefully this will change, starting of spring or summer. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, let's do Destro. We're getting some questions about Destro, and I have definitely played last week when I was sick, so also apologies if I'm coughing or my voice is a bit raspy. But yeah, last push week on Bursting, I definitely did play Destro, and some of the questions that I get is why Destro instead of Demo. Yeah. First and foremost, there's some annoyances with Demo, yeah, and I've definitely voiced my opinion, and so have some of my teammates, right? So Ninja pulling from pets and the talent, which it's that one spiteful constitution, whatever. Supposedly it was fixed, but it's still pulling. Yeah, it's Ninja pulling shit, and it's annoying depleting keys to do something that's like, unless I see it and I implode, even then, like the just just veers off and do stuff. So that's one of the first things why I try to play a bit more Destro, but not the only thing. The new tier set definitely, for me at least, went a bit under the radar, or maybe I was just very hopeful that it's not going to be another season of Destro, which admittedly it's 50-50. Like if you want to play Warlock in high keys, you can still do that, but there's some there are mages and druids with raid buffs, so kind of impossible for you to compete with that unless some things change in the near future. But you can definitely do gear high keys with Warlock. I've done some, even though like we were playing that many hours a day, but definitely possible to time some of the best keys as a Warlock right now. So, Destro. Before getting to stats and sets and embellishments and stuff like that, primary reason why I feel like maybe the community as a whole has not caught up to why Destro is good is the tier set, and namely Dimensional Rift. Yeah. Now, in big pools, we have a bunch of mobs and Cataclysm, and you have either Lust or PI. You almost have like infinite resets on Dimensional Rift, which is a lot of damage, and damage goes to the target that you have selected. Yeah, so basically priority damage with that spell are very high. Like you actually are doing respectable damage to the target that you want to die. Yeah, like be it bears or abomination if you're doing such in your case. So if there is a target like that, you're definitely doing competitive damage. Like I will not go as far as to say mage, because usually some of those pools the mage has a Daolast, so you cannot compete with that. But you're close, like you're up there, like very, very close, I'd say. I mean, you could do even more to it, but it's not worth, right? Because then in heavy pools such as those, for example, and one of the primary reasons I swapped to Destro a bit, that's not one of the reasons we did, but it's similar, right? So what we put here is like all of this, right? Without abomination, but still the AoE of just pressing rain and having infinite shards because you have literally the whole pack emulated with Cataclysm. It's insane damage. Like you cannot catch up on globals. So, and let's start off from there. Stats. Definitely do sim yourself, guys. Like for me, it might show something like I'm also playing with demo gear and stuff. Like I'm trying to kill Firak, so it's not ideal gear. But Destro definitely still likes haste, even though the priorities has changed a little bit. And at least from my personal sims, it seems to be liking haste versa than crit, and like the last one is mastery more or less. And the reason it likes crit is because Dimensional Rift is basically the highest when you look at your breakdown. Actually pull up a quick look here. When you look at your breakdown, guys, it basically Dimensional Rift is super high, right? So that's, and it scales with versatility. Is that? Let's see. We said, can you see it? Okay. This just pick one of the keys I did as Destro, just to showcase what I mean. And that's the third key. When you go high enough, that's what the breakdown is going to look. Even though this dungeon doesn't have too much AoE, so it's hard to compare. But we can check Everbloom, for example, very quickly. Where is it? 9. Your damage is still going to look similar, right? But you saw the packs that I'm playing in the dungeon, so I'm definitely trying to prioritize a bit more pressing rain in some of those packs. But I am definitely making sure to try and spend my dimensional rifts as soon as I can. And then I try to rain. But in very heavy AoE pools, and if there isn't a priority target, I'll try to rain a lot. Because rain is still, like, one global of rain on 20 targets is better than one global of rift, yeah? But if there is a target that you need to be hitting, like abomination, then I'll probably prioritize a bit more dimensional rift. Now, to wrap up the stats, sim yourselves. That's the most important thing I would say, yeah? But definitely maybe around 27-30% hits, I think it's where I'm going to end up eventually if I continue playing, and we'll see, because I'm also playing the mage right now. So that one is going to be something that I figure out a bit more into the future. Gear. If you're pugging and your healer is a pug, I personally have the same says that BSO is good, but seeing it around 50% or sub 60 definitely makes me kind of I don't like this embellishment. Like I don't like it at all. But I did craft it to test it last week, and in some dungeons you definitely had a slightly higher uptime. Maybe the healer that you're playing with is obviously I cannot say that my healer is bad. We're doing 30 keys, right? But being a druid and being a warlock, where everything you do, loses your HP, boom, you don't have the embellishment anymore. It's something that kind of sucks for Warlock, TBH, with this embellishment. So all of these things considered, and if you're doing slightly lower keys with random healers, I would probably advise you to maybe steer a little bit away from BSO and maybe just play Azure Wave. I feel like my damage was not that much different between BSO and Azure, in honesty. Now, if the uptime is very good, like I had the one key in Everbloom with super high uptime, definitely broke the damage meter, yeah? Like, absolutely. Like, even on last boss, like, I had insane damage in that dungeon with BSO. But that was very high healing. And that probably also means that, your healer is spending more globals healing you instead of them doing damage as well, which it's a discussion for, different YouTube channels and, I guess, influencer content creators and such. But yeah. That's my opinion on the embellishments. You can play both, I'm pretty sure, and you have very good results. Lower keys, range of 25. I personally would still play Demo, because unless you're playing together with your tank, Destro still it's suffering from the same issues as it always has, right? Like rainfires and targets moving. Although now it's a bit different because Cataclysm and Dimension Rift and Immolation, if you're playing, let's move on to the build. If you're playing Scalding Flames, then your Immolation damage is very high. Actually very high, like it's top 3, let's say, depending on the dungeon. Maybe sometimes higher, yeah. So definitely high potential here, or it's making Rain have a bit less value with the current tier setting and talents and everything that you're playing. Still, nonetheless, Rain is doing a lot of damage anyway you look at it, and if the pools are more mediocre, like in the sub 10 mobs, I feel like Rain is not good enough, yeah, to do more damage than Demo anyway. So you will be probably better off playing Demo because it's doing damage non-stop now. The build. Now, the sim says this is the best. Like what you see. Oh, one thing I forgot to to say about the embellishment. Yeah, like if you're playing BSO, you gotta play this talent, so that whenever you press your Dark Pact, you don't lose the embellishment, right? It's literally at 95% when you press it. If you lose 1 HP, then it's gonna be goners. So there is that, yeah. Now, to the right side of the tree. The talent points that you can kind of move around are Crashing Chaos, because realistically this talent without that part has been nerfed. I'm not gonna cover it. It's overall bad, but it is what it is. This talent is still good whenever you pop cooldowns. However, these are two talent points that are only useful every 3 minutes, and it feels it's bad. Like it's straight up bad. Like but from everything else that you get available, it doesn't feel that bad, especially in big AoE pools. Because the 8 trains, you definitely feel the damage. Like your damage in big AoE pools, in cooldowns, you're gonna feel it. A single target, a little bit, but for single target like Tyrannical Week, I would say you can probably just play it like this. This is also very good, and you're doing constant damage, you know, with incinerates and so. The build that I tried on Sanguine Week, and I don't think I played this, but regardless, like reason I'm bringing it, I played this, and this had surprisingly good results. I'll say this much. Although the sim says it's bad, but not having to like re-emulate targets was very nice, I would say, because you can just continue pressing whatever other buttons you're doing instead of pressing like emulate as a global. So kata, few reigns, channel, it felt nice. Now, gameplay wise, rotational, yeah, stuff that we're going to talk about now. After they remove madness, there isn't much going on rotationally, yeah. Like there are two debuffs that you kind of wanna upkeep, which is eradication and explosive potential. Roaring blaze. These are the two, but you're kind of keeping them, but just doing rotation. Like it's not, if you're just pressing your buttons, building shards, spending them, like both buffs are gonna be almost 100% uptime. Like obviously you can lose some uptime if you have to move a lot, but then you're pressing basically Dimensional Rift, which also I didn't cover, but it helps with movement quite a bit. Like you can stock up 1 to 2, or like keep 1 at least if you know there will be movement sometime soon, and then you have an actual button that does. It's not ideal, but it does something. Yeah, it's better than nothing. We take it. Now, AoE. If you have a lot of targets, I probably need to show you a VOD to have better understanding of what I mean. Let me just dig up a clip. And that was even more visible in other keys when the pools were even bigger. Yeah, just show you this so you can have an understanding of what I mean. Okay, this is a clip from one of the Everblooms. What you're going to do, I didn't even cataclysm all the mobs, yeah? But it's a bit cool. Anyway, obviously raining, and we have an abomination which I've selected here, and I've popped my coolies. But you can see, like, I'm trying to spend this, but an obvious mistake, which that was one of my first keys as Destro this season, actually. But I have Havoc Ring, and that was, I'm pretty sure I was applying emulates as we were setting up the pack, and then I realized to myself, well, that's kind of dumb. Like, well, why would I waste this button or like even press it? But the one thing you can do is, as you're gathering the pack, emulate the targets and just dimensional rift them, right? Because this is going to reset by the time the poo is gathered, right? And also, even if it's not, as soon as you cataclysm, you're going to get max dimensional rifts. Now, definitely don't use Havoc like as you're gathering the poo. I'm pretty sure it's a dead global, or you can have a better use of it after. This clip is probably short, but around 10 seconds from this point, and once you've spent your dimensional rifts, like it's around this point basically, guys gonna start feeling it. Like emulations are falling off. You don't have channel doing fire. We could use the Havoc now to at least emulate 1 or 2 targets and gain extra shards, because you don't have rifts to generate shards, and just conflag is not gonna do it, right? So you definitely keep the havoc, but that's one thing that I noticed here, and then I realized, oh, okay, I see that like these are the things I should be doing instead. So definitely good thing to keep in mind. Also, when you're in the peak of your shards, right, and you're spending, so basically you have the 100 targets emulated, I would say don't conflag, like conflag once, yeah, like to have it on the target as a debuff, but it's not even that important. Raining and pressing one dimensional rift is gonna put you over the free shards like right away, so you can rain again. I'll definitely say press this button over conflag because it's better overall damage in the key, at least on the very big pools. On the smaller pools or 2 targets, you're going to find yourself conflagging anyway because you're gonna run out of dimensional rifts. But yeah, that's pretty much one thing that you guys can min-max in terms of AoE. So more or less gameplay-wise, rotationally, that's pretty much it, sadly. There isn't too much going on with this spec, especially after the remove. With Madness, you could definitely show and see like a very, 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 very good player from somebody that's not as comfortable on the spec, even though the spec is as simple as it gets, right? Build, spend, that's it, you know. Without Madness, you're not getting punished for not casting or not planning your movement. Just make sure that, you know, like, feature guys with Cataclysm, spend your shards. I'm sure. I think it's slipping my mind right now, but I don't remember. There's some dungeons where you can definitely play like this, by the way. These 2 points, but it shouldn't be high AoE, right? Like, you want to try and do low AoE dungeons. They still has some value. Like, Rise would be a good example of playing this talent, because you have in Rise. I'm gonna close the video anyway soon. In Rise, you know, you have these targets here at the start, which raining is gonna look good for the overalls, but these targets are literally useless. You just want to kill this guy, this, you know, the maiden, and then this guy, and then sentinel. So in these situations, you're probably gonna get more damage down on this, or you're gonna move faster if you're playing like something, you know, like this. It's one way to gain damage, kind of, without looking at overalls. So it is now. Warlock utility, as wild as this may sound, this season is actually hidden OP for Warlock utility. There are a few points where you can do very high keys and them better and faster than other groups with Warlock. So that's something that we experimented with. This pool was very good for Warlock. Like anything over 10 targets, your Destro is very nice. Now, problem is in this dungeon, for example, as demo, you're gonna do more overall. But Imp has insane utility in this key. Like, you can imp on first boss, the tank, if your healer dies, or like just want to have an extra global. Or this area where I'm pretty sure all of you know that people have been dying like a lot. Like, everybody has died here. Now, with Paladin tank, you can cheat this mechanic once in a while, but if you're a Warlock, you can play Imp in this area and do it for your guys, because the kicks here are not important, especially if you're not playing the leeches, yeah? If you're not playing them, there is like one kick, and you can, with big curse, your 1 melee can take care of this kick, yeah? So if you're playing big curse for foe, just curse the big mob, and that's it. If you're pulling this mob, this gets applied to the tank and one additional target. And usually this happens during, what's called, these guys, Momentus, Tainted Suns. This is deadly AF, yeah. And if this overlaps with Bloom, you're probably dead. Then it snowballs, because there are less targets for this to be applied to, and people can only survive that much, right? But it is what it is. Another tech you can do, but that a lot of classes can do, the Chrono Burst, you can go to the edge here, just place your portal like this, and just jump off as the explosion is going off, and it's not going to do damage to you, basically. It's another little tech you guys can do, but the Imp here, it's very big. Like, Imp, this guy makes this whole area like Omega free. Also, Banish for these mobs, especially maybe not for everybody, but this is for all mega high keys. These you probably want to do one by one. These two mobs. I mean, you could do them together, but a high chance somebody dies. Banish one, kill this, then unbanish, and continue killing. Because the big mob is actually not as scary when you have Imp Dispel. Another thing. I remember here. This one you can purge, but it's what. Drone is also kind of nice in that regard. You can play Imp for this boss on Tyrannical. This boss is super scary. This Flame Shock spell almost 90% of the HP on 28-29. So like upon application. And you don't know who is getting it, so you cannot like pre-defensive it. Imp definitely very helpful here. And what you guys can do, because Demo is good in this whole area. You can play the first area as Destro, as Demo, and after you're done with the what's called this boss here. I don't even know where the boss is, bro. What the fuck? Oh, this guy. Once you're done with this guy, you can just TP outside of the dungeon, and you're gonna spawn downstairs anyway. So you can do that and swap to Destro and play Imp, or just play this like the whole key is Destro, because Destro is still very good. But yeah, and it's also kind of nice in this area here, because yeah, Destro is doing a little bit better single target damage. And you can just bolt this guy, and he's gonna die faster, and you're not going to kill the smallies at random with the pets, spinning and stuff like that. Now, to close it off, dungeons that I think Destro is kinda good at, even though Demo is like straight up probably gonna do more overall in all of the dungeons, but there's some niche scenarios where I feel like Destro is doing decent damage, and it's also bringing something, like a little extra, like a melee kick, or like for example Blackrock Hold. You cannot do the Sentinels, like you need Destro kick for it, Paladin at least, so it's kind of, I mean, you can do them with VDH, but still, like Demo kick is very bad. It's just way too long, but you cannot change them onto. Now Destro for foe, you can play both, but I feel like Destro has better damage profile for the shield. Rice, you can play both. Demo is better though in most of it, but Destro is nice for last boss. You can also, if I remember correctly, you can imp it, but I have not played it in a while, because we just haven't had the key, so I don't recall, like on last boss, I think you should have been able to imp the thing that it's getting applied to, but don't quote me on that. I have to check again. Warcraft, I mean, what can I say, bro? Demo pets are pulling everything, and the tier set is pulling this area as well. If there are mobs on the upper stairs, when the Doombrand explodes, you're gonna ninja pull. So I've played some Destro here as well. Blackrock, you can play both. You can even dispel the Soul Blade. I've been just dwarfing it or leaving it with defensive, so it's not that big, and my kick is needed. Atao, you can play both. It doesn't matter much, although again, Demo pets, the annoyance. First area here, if you're playing this, they jump on your pets, all of your pets. So one thing you can do here, if you're playing Demo, go in melee, but as soon as the mobs move, you kind of have to suicide your imps, because if they're even close, like outside of it, the mobs, they're eligible targets for targets to jump. But in this area, you can play imp, for example, put the imp somewhere behind you, get in combat, put the imp behind, and all the Juggernauts are going to jump on the imp. And because you don't have the kick and there are less kicks that way, doesn't matter much, because the wildfire, you can imp dispel from players. That's good. Also, if I remember correctly, you can even like imp dispel the fear, but I have to check. I mean, some of these, I remember doing them earlier in the season, but I haven't played in a while, so like my memory is a bit jiggled on some of these, and I much rather just play pet kick instead of like getting feared. It doesn't seem very, very good, Anyhow, what else? You can push the boss with Destro. You cannot do it with Demo. But yeah, more or less that's how it goes. Now, Everbloom, definitely Destro is very good, especially on last boss. Last boss, Destro is absolutely smacking that boss. But with Demo, you can probably have like good overall. Like both actually. The Warlock is good here. Ticket. both are good, but my ninja put on 29 or 30 dark card ticket. And that day I decided I'm either not playing Warlock or I'm just playing Destro. And what I did is play Destro for 2 days and had some score. Throne, you can play both as I said, but on Tyra I would definitely recommend playing Destro. So yeah, I think I covered most of what I wanted to cover. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. Yeah. This information was useful to you guys. Continue supporting me. I hope I'm gonna get back to some content creation for season 4. Right now, way too busy with work, so I'm trying my best. Like I just like to spend my time either relaxing after work or doing some keys on stream with friends and just having some of my viewers come and we can chat it up in the Twitch chat. So yeah, that's for me for now. See you soon, and I hope you enjoyed it. Catch you guys in the next, I would say, stream or video. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, enjoy, boys. Take care.